This the same way we started our chalk talk. I know it's starting to sound like the boy crying wolf, but that's the best team we've played yet, and maybe the best we've played for a period of time. Maybe not the full stretch of it. We tried some new combinations, but the best team we've played, and for about 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, as good as we could play.
We'll start there. I mean, when you have a stretch of 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes where, you made 8 straight and just really blew them out at that point.
Starting with Rowe making a tremendous baseline pass to a wide open Amber, and that got Amber one going. And if you let her see one go in, if you'll notice, we ran 2 straight set plays for her, because if she sees one, there's a liable to be 2 more behind it. And then that set up Chelsea's step out, which need to get her going from the arc, and she got an open one and made it. So it blew open a close game. I don't know what the score was at that point in time, but you look up and it's 20 all of a sudden, and that completely changes their halftime.
Well, we talked to Amber and Chelsea about the drives and drawing fouls early. Mm-hmm. Did that lead to the open threes?
Compounding effect. That's that accumulation of, I love that new stat on these stat sheets. It's the FD, fouls drawn. That has become something that we are very, very cognizant of at all times, because now you got their best player had 2 fouls just real quick. That changes how you got to play defensively. And that opens up the 3, and, our motto of making them wrong. If they want to flood the paint, then we're going to have to make some threes. And if we make threes, now the lanes are open, and then we get back to the foul line. We were uncharacteristically not very sharp from the foul line to start, but I thought we had that little stretch. I think we made 9 or 10 in a row to start the third quarter. And then, it's hard to finish the half like you did and come back out and start the third quarter, and this group really did it. It's good. That's a good sign for us.
I guess if you're nitpicking maybe the offensive rebounds they had and just all those that kept them around early in the game.
They will all be clipped and shown ad nauseum, because that's going to cost us. That's going to cost us. It could be Thursday or Wednesday night when Belmont comes in here, because they're even bigger. Those balls that we've got our hands on that they end up with, we've got to start getting those. And that will be something that's very much highlighted from the entire game. But specifically, there was a couple of lineups there that we had a lot of tip balls, and none of them were grabbed. So I thought Erin came in and did a nice job for us, though. She came in and really kind of shored that up a little bit. And that's a role she can play. If you get, I think her and Taylor maybe combined for 18 rebounds or 15. I don't know how many. But that's a lot from that spot. And did a good job on their big kids, too. Their strengths inside, and I thought those 2 kids kind of had a night like Taylor and Kiara used to have last year. That was fitting for Erin to play well again.
When you're able to put a game away like that, just how much energy can that bring to a team when you have that stretch?
Well, it allows you to try some different combinations. We had Lex in there with IT and left Amber in there with Chelsea for a little period of time with Erin. So it gives us some usable film and some data that helps us down the line going against opponents rather than our practice squad. So it carries a lot of value, what you're pointing out. Those 7 to 8 minutes where I think we were up 30 at one point, and the game's comfortable at that point, so you can do some experimentation with lineups. And that'll carry over towards SEC play.
Another solid night from Michaela Daniels, doing a lot of different things for you.
Yeah, just you don't ever want to take it for granted, because it is so steady. But more and more people are now starting to see what we saw 3 years ago when you see her leading her teams in the summer and her high school teams. And she's just, I know I keep using the term so freshman ready, but I really think a lot of people should talk to her about the things that she did, her parents, the way they did things with her growing up, the teams that they selected to play on during the summer. That story's got to be talked about, and more younger kids need to hear the Michaela Daniels story. Not stars and some restaurant All-American team, whatever. She just kept her head down and she played, and then she found the right fit and she came in ready to play. And she's going to keep doing that. You have still just seen a little bit of why we weren't, as much as we miss Malika Monk, there wasn't a lot of this time this summer worried about what was going to happen. We had seen it. And for her to come in and bring it now from practice to the game, that just continues to speak volumes for her upbringing.
we've talked about it a lot, but having those four in your starting lineup on the perimeter, I mean, what's that do for matchup problems, and how much does that help you guys out?
I'm really good friends with Laz, their assistant coach, and we talked last night before the game, and he had been up for a while trying to come up with a plan. And basically his plan was this: hope you miss. Because that's about all you can really do. I don't think you can keep us from getting good shots. I really don't. If we move it and we value it and we share it, we're going to end up with a pretty good shot, whether that comes with 7 seconds or on the shot clock or 27. So I don't know how I would guard us either. I'd probably try to play zone and hope we missed. But we've shown that we can shoot it. So I'm glad we don't have to play ourselves. That's for sure. That sounded pretty brash. I didn't mean it to sound like that. Sorry. That was not how, in context. Y'all don't truncate my thing. And let me see that on bulletin board for Belmont. But there was a lot of stuff said before it and after it. Do we need to talk about Belmont now, or do we have anybody got anything on Belmont? Save you a trip up here on.
Just you talk about they got some, obviously they got size inside.
Yeah,
so
and quality and experience. This is an NCAA tournament team. Year in, year out. If you watch them, y'all will see it. They've got the scouting report could basically be write out one kid and just say ditto 11 times. They are all just skilled and smart and play hard, and they're rugged and they're fierce. They're confident. They had a game. They beat Central Florida early in the year, and it scared me. I stopped watching it. I literally turned it off because I wasn't prepared to watch them yet. Western Kentucky beat them in a little bit of a surprise, but I know Bart well enough to know they'll come in. They've also got a local kid in Jamelyn Kinney, a Van Buren girl who was a really good high school player here in the state. That was the reason the game was scheduled to bring her home. And those kids either play good or bad. And a lot of times, it's been my luck, they always play great. So the Jamelyn Kinney fan club, and we're fans. I thought she was a really, really good player, and I think she made a really good fit. She does a lot of things for them, but they're very deep and they are rugged. And that's why I say these rebounds that we didn't get tonight, if we don't get those against them, they'll be and ones and fouls, and we'll be in foul trouble, and the score will be not in our favor. So progressively still, if you look at it in order, and probably all the way through Christmas, up until we go to Christmas, every one of our opponents is increasing in their potential to be tournament teams.
How much does that help you guys out, kind of starting here and working your way up to get to conference that way?
I think it allows us to let Michaela see what the speed of the game looks like before you throw her into the SEC play. And that was, how we put it together and how it was structured and laid out. We were really lucky that we had enough quality opponents to play us. And I think that allows us to learn and still not lose. If you're going to be that team that has to get beat before you learn a lesson, then you're never going to be really good. This allows us to learn, make some mistakes without having to feel that pain and that sting of a loss. I think in year 3 with this team, with where we've got now, we're missing Jalen Mason's leadership so much on the court, but she's doing it for us in the locker room. But this team needed a challenge exactly like we put out in front of them there.
Can you tell us something about Mason and Williams? Where are they at this point?
Kiera will be back in practice within the next couple of days. And with Jalen, it is still a wait and see how this thing is. It is one of those injuries that can affect you for a long time. And we're just not ready to make a decision about a kid's future when we don't have all the best information. And see how she feels. Because she does have so many life after basketball and life after University of Arkansas goals, we got to make sure we've given her the best chance to reach all those. But I'd like for both of them to be back as soon as possible.
So you say a couple of days. Does that mean Kiara's back in a week, a few
Could
days,
be.
maybe?
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. It's going to be, again, the more time the one thing that has happened with our team, if you don't want to miss practice. Because if you miss practice, then Erin Barnum is going to do what she did. If you miss practice, then Michaela Daniels is going to do what she did. If you miss practice, then Rokia's ready and Marquisha's there. But that's that cool part of it. So kids want to practice. It's hard for Natalie to keep these kids out. They're like, they don't want to miss. So hopefully they get back. And we've kind of have the Bahamas on your radar for a lot of reasons, but that's kind of that time that we're hoping to start to get some of these kids back.
All good?
All right. See y'all.